Hey guys, welcome to the Sports Fan Network. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Travis.
Well, today we're going to be doing our previews for Week 1 of the NFL season. It's exciting because the season is officially starting. How excited are you, Travis?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, last night we had a great game between the Chiefs and the Patriots. Lots of big plays, and it just feels really good to have football back. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was obviously a pretty good game for the majority of the game, but the Chiefs kind of ran away there. Pretty surprising. I thought it would be a closer game, but let's get to the other games for this next week of football. Starting with the Atlanta Falcons going against the Chicago Bears. How do you think this one's going to shake up?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to win this game. Obviously, last year they made it to the Super Bowl, and it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back week one. No, I think they're really talented this year. They can make a deep playoff push again. And I think Atlanta is going to try to put the Super Bowl collapse behind them and show the NFL that they're ready for the season by a big win this week.
Yeah, I think it'll be a closer game than a lot of people expect. The Bears have a pretty good defense. That front seven's pretty legit. But I think the Atlanta, with all their weapons on the outside, is just going to be too much for the Bears in this one. I think if there's any team that can really come back from a Super Bowl hangover like the one that they could potentially have, it's this team with Dan Quinn as their head coach and, a little bit new coordinator, but I think it's going to be the same offensive system for them. So I expect them to win this one, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than many people think.
Yeah, I think, with Devontae Freeman, Tavon Coleman, and Julio Jones, those are three really big key playmakers, and I think they have a great game.
Yeah, they're going to have a pretty good game on offense, I think, for them.
So then the next matchup we have is we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Detroit Lions. Who do you have for this game?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one. It's at Detroit, but I have Arizona pulling off the win here on the road. I just think their defense is legit. They'll be able to shut down Matthew Stafford, who, the Lions really don't have running game still. So I think they're going to be one-dimensional in this one. And, we talked about in our preview for the Lions how, maybe that, coming back from the fourth quarter and all those comeback wins they had last year is not sustainable. I think we start to see that happen this year. I just think the Cardinals, I just think they have a bounce-back year this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the preseason they looked really well, and they have aging veterans like Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald. So they're really in a win right now mode.
Yep.
And I think, you got two of the best defenders in the NFL, and Tyrod Matthew and Patrick Peterson. And this defense has looked really hungry. They want to be respected in the league. They look like they could be a top 5 defense. And I think, they got a chip on their shoulder, and they kind of had a down year last year. They're really trying to put themselves back on the map.
Yeah, David Johnson, I think, is going to have a big game against that Detroit Lions defense. Pretty weak front seven overall. So this will be an exciting game, I think, overall, though.
Yeah, and then going into the next matchup, we got an NFC East showdown. You got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Redskins. This is going to be one of the better games of the week.
I agree.
They play each other twice a week. It's going to be physical. It's going to be big plays. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Who do you have winning this matchup?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I like the Eagles a lot with all the weapons they added on offense for Carson Wentz. But with Washington at home, really with the NFC East, you can go either way. Some of these games are just crazy in the NFC East for some reason. But I think the Redskins will pull it off at home. I think Kirk Cousins, with some of the new weapons that he has this year, I think they'll be able to have enough chemistry to get some points on the board. And it will be an exciting game, though. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. Carson Wentz going to second year. They really retooled that offense. I think in the preseason, they just looked like they were clicking on all cylinders. Yep. They looked really crisp. I think this game, it's gonna have a pretty big impact, even though it's only week one. And I think for fantasy purposes, a guy to watch out in this game, I think Jamison Crowder is a guy that's not on too many radars.
Yep.
I think he can have a big week one and really kind of, if he's not drafted in your league, a guy that you can target in your waiver wire because, with all the weapons they lost, he's a guy that can have 100 catches this year with the chemistry he has with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I can see that definitely happening. Obviously, Terrell Pryor has been going to be expected for the Redskins to have a big year for them. He could have some favorable matchups this week against the Eagles secondary. But what's the next game that's coming up this week?
Yeah, the next game we got the Jaguars versus the Texans. So for me in this game, I have the Texans winning.
Yep.
We got J.J. Watt coming back. He's going to be healthy. To pair him next to Jadeveon Clowney and Whitney Merciless, that's going to be that's a quarterback's nightmare, really. I mean, this is a top 5 defense that wants to be number 1 this year. And I think playing Jacksonville, they really got a quarterback mess with Blake Bortles. He has not looked sharp at all this preseason. And I know they got a really young defense in Jacksonville, but I think the Texans have got just enough offense, and that defense will carry them to win this week.
Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty easy one for me. The Texans just have too much talent across the board. I think it'll be a low-scoring game because the Jacksonville defense is pretty good too. But I think Tom Savage does enough for this offense and the Texans to kind of get some points on the board for them. I think there might be a defensive touchdown in this game too because Blake Bortles will be harassed all game long. And Bortles will probably, have a few self-inflicted wounds here, some picks and fumbles in this game. I think it's going to be an ugly game for Bortles. Big one for the Texans, I think.
Yeah. And then the next matchup, I think this might be a matchup I'm definitely not planning on watching this week. We got the Jets and the Bills, and both of these franchises,
not watching that. Nope.
They are in rebuilding mode, and this game, I think it's going to be pretty ugly. It doesn't intrigue me at all. But I think the Jets are the worst team in the football right now, and I have the Bills winning this game.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an ugly game to watch. This is the Tank Bowl. If the Browns and Jets at the Toilet Bowl, this is the Tank Bowl because both teams are intentionally going to be trying to lose.
Yeah.
I think the Bills have just too much talent for their own good in this one. They're going to get the win for this game at home.
Yeah, and then the next matchup, we got the young and upcoming team who's trying to make the Super Bowl this year, and the Oakland Raiders versus another young team on the rise, and the Tennessee Titans. This is a battle of the youth. I mean, I think this game could be a lot closer than people think, but with the healthy Derek Carr coming back, I think that Oakland offense is going to be too explosive. That defense, they just got to be pretty good. Like, they don't have to be amazing. Yeah. The offense is good enough to carry the team. But I could see Oakland kind of dominating this game. But I think it'll be kind of close, too. I kind of contradicted myself. But.
Yeah, I think under the radar, this could be one of the better games this week. You have two young rising quarterbacks, Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota. The Tennessee Titans, with their great running game, will be a huge problem for that Oakland defense. But Derek Carr and those weapons they have in Oakland will just be too much, I think, for the Titans going on the road. And I think the Oakland Raiders will get this win. I think the Raiders will be, one of the top teams in the AFC. So even though I like the Titans a lot, I think the Raiders will come in and steal a win here.
Yeah, I agree. And then the next matchup, we got another in-division rivals between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think this is going to be a low-scoring, tough football game.
Yep.
These two teams do not like each other. And for me, I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens on this game. I think they improved their defense that much that it has the potential to take over a football game. And the Bengals, they have a few key injuries. They got John Ross. They're saying he could be out the first 2 weeks. And I think, there's a lot of what-ifs because Joe Flacco had that back injury. But I think, they retooled the offense enough where he's got some weapons. And I know he hasn't played, but he knows the system. So I can see the Ravens winning this game.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. They're pretty even, I think, talent-wise. I think the Rams have a little bit more talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm going to go with the Bengals with this one just because they're at home. And I feel good with Andy Dalton, with A.J. Green and Tyler Eifert healthy. I think they can put some numbers up on this really good Ravens defense. But it's going to be a tough game. Like we said, this AFC North division game where both these teams really do not like each other. They know each other a lot. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals here just because I feel like the home team will win out in this one.
Yeah, I agree. And then our next matchup, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns, another in-division game. And, even though the Browns have got some young talent on this team, I can see the Steelers literally running away with this game. Yep. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is one of the best running backs in football right now. The Steelers really need to pay this man because he is just a beast and he's a big part of their offense. But I just don't see the Browns being able to slow down that dynamic offense.
Yeah, Steelers, enough said. Nothing else needed.
And then the next matchup, we got the Indianapolis Colts versus the LA Rams. Who do you have in this game?
I have the Rams winning this one. Andrew Luck's not going to play for the Colts, which, if he was playing, I would take the Colts, but I don't trust Scott Tolzien or Jacoby Brissett, coming off with basically a week of practice with his new offense. Whoever they're going to start, I think it's going to be Tolzien who's starting, but Yeah, it's going to be the Rams. Their defense is going to do enough. And, Jared Goff has looked surprisingly competent, I think. Well, not surprisingly competent, but he's looking a lot better this preseason. I think that might translate to the regular season. And maybe they put together a few drives and get some points on the board just to do enough to beat the Colts.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, mainly because you bring up the point of that Rams defense, but their biggest piece on that defense, Aaron Donald, is still not reported, and it's most likely he's not going to play week 1. Now, I know Scott tells you it hasn't really given me enough confidence for me to trust him to go out and win a football game, and I don't think they're going to play Jacoby Brissett because he hasn't learned the playbook.
Not yet.
But they still got weapons like T.Y. Hilton, who's an elite wide receiver. You have Frank Gore. I think this is a team that, you can lean on those two guys. They can grind it out, tough it out. And the Rams' offense looks a little bit better. The offensive line is still really shaky, and I can see the Colts grinding this game out and getting the W.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly game. Like we said, though, Scott Tolzien hasn't really proven anything to me. I just think Andrew Luck does so much for this team that, it's really tough for me to see them, really getting a win without him, especially when they don't have a Matt Hasselbeck to kind of back him up and be a steady veteran presence.
Yeah, and he definitely can't rely on that Colts defense to win the game.
Definitely not.
Well, the next matchup we got the Panthers versus the 49ers. Who do you have in this game?
Yeah, I have the Panthers winning this one. 49ers on rebuild mode. Even though they're at home, the Panthers, I think they have a bounce back year and easy win for the Panthers.
Yeah, for me, I also have the Panthers win. I think with the new NFL celebration rule, we're going to see dabbing Cam again. Maybe some other Cam move. I mean, he just looked like he's having a lot more fun, a lot more relaxed. He had a really down year last year, but coming off that shoulder injury, they're saying he's fully 100% ready to go. I think it'll be interesting to see how the offense clicks with that injury, kind of limiting his reps in the offseason. But they got a good defense, and like you said, the 49ers are rebuild mode, so I got the Panthers.
Yep.
And then the next matchup for me, which I think is the matchup of the week, there's also another really good one Sunday night. But the Seahawks and the Packers, two NFC team rivals that have faced each other a lot in the regular season, in the playoffs in the past. These teams, they've kind of formed a rivalry, and it's been fun to watch. What do you see for this game?
Yeah, this probably might be the toughest game for me to predict this week. It can go really either way, but I can't go against Aaron Rodgers and that dynamic Packers offense at home, at Lambeau, with the home crowd behind them. I just think their offense will just do just enough against that great Seahawks defense. They did just get Sheldon Richardson, which could be a difference maker for them in this game. But I just can't go against Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the better quarterbacks in this game. Probably second to Tom Brady, in my opinion. 1A, wherever you want to put him. He can single-handedly win this game for the Packers here.
Yeah, I think you look at, in the past when they've played each other, and it seems like Green Bay has had a lot of success, obviously playing at home, but playing Seattle in the regular season. They added that new addition, Martellus Bennett, who I think it'd be fun to watch him go up against his brother, but I agree with you. Sheldon Richardson, I think he's going to fit really well in the Seahawks locker room. I think he can have a pretty big impact on that defensive line week 1. But for the Seahawks, their offensive line is really shaky right now. I could see the Packers getting some pressure on Russell Wilson and kind of slowing down that running game to make them one-dimensional. And you don't see lots of teams that could beat Aaron Rodgers in a shootout. So if the Seahawks defense can't really slow him down and they have to go up in a shootout against him, in Lambeau, I have the Packers winning this game. But I think it'll be a really great game.
No, it's going to be a great game. Might be the number 1 game this week, I think.
Yeah, now we're going to go to the Sunday night game, the Giants and the Cowboys. Obviously, they say Zeke is going to play this week, so he hasn't had a lot of preseason reps, but he's not a guy that really needs any, and I kind of keep the mileage off him. But the Giants are the only team to beat the Cowboys twice in the regular season, and these two teams will be going for the number 1 seed in the NFC East, and this is going to have a huge playoff implications week 1.
Yeah, I think these are the top 2 teams in the NFC East, obviously. For me with this one, Odell Beckham, they're saying he might not be able to play, and if he does play, he might be, not 100%, obviously. So This is a tough one for the Giants, and they rely so much on him in their passing game, even though they did add Brandon Marshall in the offseason to kind of help with that. But I think with Ezekiel Elliott playing now for the Cowboys, I think it'll be too much for the Giants this year at Dallas. I think that Dallas kind of sneaks by with a really, really close win here. It's going to be a really close game, though.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to go with the Giants on this one. Obviously, last year they found a formula to beat Dallas. I'm thinking they can replicate it again this season, and I think they might challenge Dallas for the top spot in the NFC East. But moving on to the two Monday night games this week, you got the Saints versus the Vikings. Adrian Peterson's going to be playing his old team again. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them, be able to tackle him, get some hits on him. What do you see for this game?
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is classic defense versus great offense. The Vikings with that tremendous defense, and the Saints, with that great offense led by Drew Brees. I think the Vikings at home, they win this one with that great defense. I'm not sure that Adrian Peterson will be able to have a big game. I think he's kind of lost a step with all the injuries and kind of the old age coming on him. But it'll be a pretty good game to watch, I think, because Drew Brees can get it done even without Brandon Cooks as his number one weapon. I think the Vikings do just enough to shut them down. And Sam Bradford will do just enough for them in offense. Watch out for Dalvin Cook in this one. I think he has a big game.
Yeah, another guy who thinks have a really big game in this is Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Stephon Diggs. I think it'd be a good fantasy play. But for this game, I think I also have the Vikings winning. That defense is just really good, and we know how bad that Saints defense is. So, Sam Bradford, that Vikings offense, I think they'll do just enough, but it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, then let's go to our last game, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. It's going to take a while for me to get used to, but who do you see winning this one?
Yeah, for me, this is one of my surprise pick of the week. I see the Los Angeles Chargers winning this game week one, mainly because they got Keenan Allen back, and that defense, they got Casey Hayward, Jason Verrett, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I mean, these are all young defenders on the rise, and this is a very underrated defense. I think can make a big leap forward this year. Phillip Rivers, he's got some targets on offense, and Trevor Siemian, I don't have enough confidence in him to win this game. I know the Broncos have a great defense, but I think the Chargers are able to squeak a win out in this game.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I'm going with Denver at home in the mile-high air. I think that helps them out that pass rush with Von Miller and his crew. This is a tough one for me, though, because the Chargers are very underrated coming into this season, I think. They have a lot of talent across the board, and they can really make some noise this year. But I think at Denver, Denver wins this one. Trevor Siemian does just enough on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for watching. That was our Week 1 NFL predictions. Like we said earlier, it's great for football to be back, and it's great to be making more videos again. We had a small break, but we got our issues fixed. I've been really busy working. Andrew's back at college, but we're going to be trying to make as much video as you can, so stay tuned.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching and hanging out in there with us. So be ready for our next videos.